Hey everyone, yeah, this is Audio Discourse. I just thought I would give my opinion on the whole Whoopi Goldberg thing. At first I wasn't going to, but I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just give my little 2 cents. Not that it matters, but um, it was this. Yeah. Okay, I personally don't think that Whoopi was being anti-Semitic, and here's the reason why. And just for the record, I have problems with things that Whoopi Goldberg has done. When it came to like just kind of pacifying certain things done against the black community, like what that whole Ted Danson thing comes to mind, and it came to mind when this incident showed up too, because she didn't cry foul or anything when that guy was wearing blackface, and just not cool. But fast forwarding it today, um, I could understand why she said what she said, but at the same time, I I agree and disagree with her. I disagree with her because when the Germans were persecuting a lot of the Jewish people, it was racial to them. It wasn't, they didn't see themselves, they didn't see the Jewish people, whether they're white or not, as the same race as them. They basically saw them as non-Aryan. They saw them as a whole other race that was below them. So it was racial. But on the flip side, I understand why Whoopi Goldberg would say that it wasn't her being a Jew herself. Um, a lot of people, when they think of Jews, they automatically, how could I say this? Jews, a lot of the ones in, especially the Ashkenaz and even some of them over in the Middle East, are usually classified as Caucasoid. Caucasoid is pretty much white. But the thing is, there are black Jews, and that's another thing that people keep ignoring. One thing that I always do is, and when I talk about this, is I always refer people to the debate between Dr. Ben and Rabbi Seltzer. It's on YouTube. Check that out. Dr. Ben goes into detail about how, there is even racism with that particular group of people. The white Ashkenazi Jews. No, I am not anti-Semitic. As a matter of fact, I have some Shemitic background. Though I am not Jewish. But that's irrelevant to this whole Whoopi Goldberg situation. This brings up another thing where it's just like, okay, although I could understand why some people probably would have been upset of her saying that it wasn't racial, I don't think that she should have been fired. I think she should have been heard out because of her being a black Jew. This should bring up another subject, because the thing is, people, it's almost like this has been flipped time and time again. Even with that whole comic book Miles, I think there was that guy that made it, was kind of looking at himself. I guess he didn't see himself as a part of the whole, you know, he didn't think that he would be demonized by critical race theory because he thought that that had something to do with just black people, i.e. him identifying himself as white even though he's a Jew. This subject matter is something interesting because I understand why Whoopi Goldberg said what she said, because basically she's saying that Jews are not a race, it's a religion. And it's like an ethnic religion at that, to some degree. It's kind of a hard thing to explain, but there are different kinds of Jews. She being a Jew herself, that's another reason why I'm like, okay, why are you guys persecuting her when she's coming from a standpoint of her being a Jew. But this should be a wake up to her, because unfortunately, it's like Dr. Ben said, people don't usually think of black people in a Jewish context if they are Jews. They think of them as black. That's what you are no matter what. It's just like, okay, like there's only one kind of Jews, you know? So people, they didn't even really hear her out and why she said what she said, because she thought it was man against men, because she looked at a lot of those particular Ashkenazi Jews as white as well. But of course, you got to keep in mind that Hitler did not have that mindset. He didn't look at them as white. He looked at them as a whole other race, not just a religion, but a whole nother race. But to be honest, I don't think that she should have been suspended, because first of all, she is a Jew. That's her religion. That's why she changed her name to more of a German Jewish name, or Ashkenaz. Well, Ashkenaz is more Russian, but you have a lot of them that have German last names like that. Goldberg, it's something that I don't think should have been, how could I say this? I don't think she should have been suspended for that. I can understand why people are upset, because Hitler did not think of them as the same race. But race-wise, those were Caucasoid people, from what people have been telling me when I get into debates about, Jews and all that, and people talking about, no, they're of Caucasoid stock. So, okay, are we going to play the game with this then? It's a trip. So that's what she's saying. There were two white people, so it wasn't racial. But, of course, coming from Hitler's mind, it is racial. But her being a black Jew, she's not going to see that. She's going to see it more as a religion or an ethnicity. So they're not understanding her perspective as a black Jew, which I think is unfair. They didn't give her a fair shake when it came to talking about that, and she should have brought that up. I think a lot of black Jews should be speaking out. But then again, among a lot of us foundational black Americans, Whoopi Goldberg does not have the best track record when it comes to talking about race a lot of times. I'm not hooraying what happened to her. I think it was wrong. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think. I hope I'm being understood. For anyone that's Jewish out there, I hope that you understand this is not an anti-Semitic thing. No one's saying anything against anybody that has that particular ethnicity or religion. I'm just giving it from a black perspective. From what I gather, Whoopi Goldberg saw it from a perspective of a black Jew. That they weren't, that the Jews that were in Europe were not black. They were white. So that's what she's looking at it as. But then again, it's almost like a threefold, man, it's a trip. Then again, you have to look at it as how Hitler was seeing them as a different race. And some Jews see them as themselves as a different race. But at the same time, a lot have played off the whole white identity thing too. And they've been classified as white. So it's like, okay, this should be a conversation to not suspend Whoopi, but to really ask her why she said what she said. Because she's speaking from a black Jewish perspective. She's not speaking from a white Jewish perspective, which is why I believe she said what she said. But everyone just wants to demonize her and call her anti-Semitic. So in a sense, she was wrong, but in a sense, she wasn't, based off of her context of being a black Jew. So please, I hope this is not going to be misunderstood. No, I am not anti-Semitic. There's nothing in this video that is. But please understand the context of race when it comes to even an ethnic background or a religion. Most people don't even think of black people as being Jewish, even when there are black Jews. I'm not speaking of my Hebrew Israelite friends that won't call themselves that. But that's a whole, yeah. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think. I'm curious. Please don't misunderstand me. All right, peace.